Yo, what's going on, everyone? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? We are live and direct. This is Noire Investment TV. I am one of your hosts, Mr. C here from the 850. And today we're starting some new programming that's going to be happening on a regular basis, a regular cycle. I have with me the founder of Noire, Miss Moni Hudson. And I also have the VP of Noire, Miss Angie. How you doing today? How y'all doing? How y'all hanging in there today? Shout out to y'all. Some hand claps, some snaps. What's going on?
Feeling good. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, the weather was decent today. I can't complain. I felt pretty good. It had gotten cold and now it's warm, right? It's summertime coming. I feel like some Fresh Prince.
Not yet.
Fresh Prince music.
Not yet. I need a little bit more heat.
Yeah, if you've been watching a reboot, that's kind of a touchy subject. Fresh Air, Fresh Prince, Bel Air. That's where I was going with that. Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I haven't seen the reboot yet. Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it for me. Let me know. Oh, I see that face. It's telling me a story already.
Hey, that's another topic for another show. That's what that is.
How you doing, Miss Moni? What you got going on in your world?
King cakes. That's what's been going on. To the point where I'm like, I don't want to see another king cake in forever. I've made that many. So outside of that, and also just trying to stay alive, for heaven's sakes, what is going on with the politics? What's going on? Like, we're in the midst of craziness right now.
We are in the midst of it for sure. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to live my life. I ain't trying to blow up the world. I just want to live. Right? It just is what it is. But with that being said, that's a great topic today to talk about investments and the craziness of the world and how that actually impacts our investments, even here in the U.S., right? And I think we're going to get into some exploration of that today. What do y'all think about that for Noire TV?
Much needed. A lot going on. It's hard to process a lot of what's happening. So this is a really great platform to be able to discuss, give facts, and just open the floor for questions and vibe.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I think, like, if you don't have these conversations, like, for anybody who's looked at their portfolio this week, don't do it. It's gonna look crazy. You're gonna be like, why am I investing? Somebody help me, sell everything. Like, you're going to totally freak out. But the truth of the matter is that good investors understand that you go through this. Like, it happens. And if you're going to accrue financial wealth, you have to be willing to go through this portion. And if you've been paying attention, you might have been saving up a little moolah to really capitalize on the stocks that are going down like this. So you can kind of grab, because we will eventually come back up.
That's for sure. I don't think the end of the world is yet. So I'm expecting that everything I see in the stock market right now, I just see it as on sale.
It's on sale.
Right. Yeah. It's on sale. That means I can buy more. And then when everything rebounds on the other side, then boom, I'm just that much more wealthier. And my position is good. My family is good. My investments are good. That's what I'm talking about. I see y'all got that mindset. In fact, if y'all are chiming in right now, I see a few of y'all have chimed in. Go ahead and drop me a shout out in the chat. Let me know y'all are listening. Let me know y'all are watching. We are finna get right into a conversation about stocks. Before we do, I want to let all of you know that this is education advice and it is not financial advice. That means none of us on this call right now are financial advisors. We have a financial advisor that supports us with Noire Investment Group. Shout out to Miss Erin Wilmer with Edward Jones. Thank you so much for supporting our education fund. We appreciate that. Shout you out real fast. And with that being said, this is all about education right now. So don't go and buy some crazy stock and say Noire told you to go do that, because we ain't tell you to go buy nothing specific. We might talk about what we doing, but everything that we're doing, we're getting advice on from a financial planner, and then we're also doing the research, the details of ourselves. So if you're interested in those kind of things, feel free to follow us at Noire Investment Group on Facebook, and that'll be the easiest place for you to find us. So with that being said, don't forget, if you got some questions, some Q&A, go ahead and drop those in the chat. Let's go ahead and get into this conversation. In fact, you know, what's happening in the market news today? What y'all see happening out there? Let's talk about the market right now.
Microsoft. Some stocks are doing okay. Everybody's not failing, and I think I saw some lists of like Microsoft going up. Who else was going up right now? I needed to see stocks that are thriving, but I saw a couple stocks that right now are doing well despite the craziness that's going on. Have you seen anything, Memoria?
No, Exxon, a lot of the oil, we're looking at quite an increase.
You know about that.
I mean, it's at an all-time high. I believe I read it was like $106 a barrel earlier. My husband and I were like, fill up, top up off the cars, because God knows what the prices of oil is going to be in the summer. Y'all might have to walk, might have to get a bus ticket, might have to carpool. But Exxon, if you're looking at oil, companies, they're okay.
That's it. In fact, the oil companies, I think, are really doing quite well right now. Even if you are dealing with an oil company that deals with Russia, I mean, if you're dealing with that, I mean, you might have some problems. But the American oil companies like Exxon are doing quite well, like you said. Microsoft. What about Apple? How's Apple doing right now?
I've heard Apple's doing really well. I heard Apple. Word on the street is that Apple is doing very well. So I definitely have to say that. And you know what? Because Memorial.
Uh-oh, we losing you. Where you at? You hiding on us. I think we lost her.
I mentioned.
Oh, you're going in and out. Well, where she's speaking on Apple, I'm just gonna say it took like a
Exxon. That's what I've been secretly like putting. You got me?
You're back now.
Oh, you're back.
Okay. Sorry about that. I think my internet connection, my system was getting excited. I had to check my Exxon stock. I could take everybody out for shots. I just had to check to see how well it's doing. But you're right, it's doing 100%. It's doing really good. When you
taking us out?
Right? I need to wait 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
Oh man.
Right now we can one round we can get.
We can do one round.
We can get a couple.
All right, y'all heard that online? Y'all put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Miss Moni's gonna take us out for shots. You know what else is doing well right now? Urban One is up right now. They're up 10 cents actually, despite all of the debacles that are happening in the world. As a media company, a black-owned media company, Urban One is actually doing all right now. They're in the green.
That's awesome.
Dope. Anybody else y'all want to shout out? Any other stocks y'all looking at for your personal portfolio?
Let's see. Everything right now is in the red. Minus the Exxon is in the red, right? The Exxon is in the green. That's the only one right now in my portfolio that's green. Everything else is red.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's about it. So with that being said, I think let's go ahead and dig on into our education fact of the day. I mean, the reason why we're doing this is to focus on making people wiser on what's happening in the market That's one of the main reasons why we do what we do here at Noire, and why we've started this live stream for Noire TV, Noire Investments TV, is to actually help educate the community to be wiser about stocks and ETFs and bonds, and actually investing, being more than consumers. So if you're interested in being more than consumers, you definitely want to stick in here. And with that being said, if you're listening to us live, go ahead and share this out with a friend or two. Share this out with a friend or two. Share this out with a friend. Did I say that? Share this out with a friend or two. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know, right? Scratch that on up. Scratch that on up. Oh man. So Miss Moni, can you connect us with the fact of the day? Some facts for the day. What are we digging into right now?
So, we're talking about sanctions, how economic sanctions work. So there's two ways we could spin this. I could either give you we have an article that explains to you how sanctions work, but I would like to give it to you the streetwise way. So that way everybody understands exactly what's going on. So let's look at sanctions this way. Sanctions is like putting your child on probation. And when you told them what you were going to do and they didn't believe you. So what you said is, I can show you better than I can tell you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and for a month, you're not going to be able to go outside. And not only that, you can't have the keys to my car. And not only that, don't you come in this kitchen. Don't you come in this kitchen after I clean up, because if you don't, it's going down. Those are sanctions for Black moms, Black dads, for folks who understand where I'm coming from. But the technical definition are their penalties levied against a country or its officials or private citizens, either as punishment or an effort to provide disincentives for targeted politics or policies or actions. So there's your book definition, and then I took it for your hood definition so you can understand. This right now is, we have nations coming together that said, I told you not to do that.
So you telling me this is the time not to play with mama? This is not the time to play with mama.
Because what you're seeing now is like, oh, because you did this, I'm going to take this back. What are those things back? You have companies saying, well, you didn't listen to what we said. So I'm BP. Guess what? I'll holler at you later. When you get it together, I'll be back. You have multiple layers of companies, businesses that are coming together. Countries all over who are saying, no, we don't play like that. And I think it was the United Nations. They had a meeting today. Russian ambassador gets up, and guess what? Everybody rolls out and says, I'm not trying to hear what you're saying. We're not even entertaining you, because we've got these sanctions going on. So there's your education for today. For those who are wondering what are sanctions and how they affect, it's that hood tendency. I told you don't do it. I told you not to press the stove. You touched it. So now we're finna lay down the law.
That's what's happening. You touched the stove. We told you not to do it. You put your hand in the cookie jar. We told you to stay out the cookie jar, and now you're on punishment, right? Yep. And you don't mess with a Black mama. When mama tell you something, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all something now. My dad may watch this later on, but I'm gonna tell you something. When my mom was mad enough at me that she had to call my dad in, it was game over, right? And my dad just looked at me. He had that look, that face of that look, and the squinty eyes, and that was just. I'm in trouble now, right? At that point in time, it's done. He didn't even got to lay the first hand on me, right? And I'm crying, I'm bawling, I'm boo-hooing, and it's all over. So we're at the point right now where mama done told you to stop playing, to put you on punishment, and dad ain't came in the room yet, right? But mom done told you to stop playing and put you on punishment. So we got these economic sanctions, and I'm interested in how they're going to affect some stocks. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk to y'all quickly about why we're doing what we're doing. So I told y'all earlier, this is Noire Investments TV. Madam VP, which is Miss Angie here, is our VP, our Vice President of Noire Investment Group. Shout you out. And can you tell the people who we are, what we do, why we're doing this?
Sure. So the way that I like to describe Noire is, before there was Noire, there was a group of friends who were interested in group economics, right? And those people came together. The 3 people you see on the screen. Matt, a founder who we call Moni Hudson, said, hey, we need to get some people together with like minds who look the same to educate themselves, to put money where their mouth is, to make their dollar grow. So Noire Investment Group is a collective of individuals ranging in age, ranging from backgrounds, ranging from different levels of educational understanding of financial literacy and economics and investing. And they come together. Our group is about 20 to 25 people. And we learn together and we speak on what you're seeing here. I mean, this is really a version of what we do within our group. And the beauty in that is when you have group economics, you're able to stretch your dollar even more. So I can go and invest in Apple separately, so can Chris, so can Moni. However, if we're able to put our money together, we're able to do more and buy more and purchase more. So I am going to tell you our mission statement, which is a little bit clearer on our present goals and what we see for the future. So Noire is a unified collective committed to the education and growth of our members and communities through the shared knowledge of investment vehicles towards the creation of generational wealth and wisdom. One of the biggest things that I know all of us are passionate about, we're all parents, right? And so to be able to have portfolios for ourselves is one thing, but to be able to express, to teach, to pass on why this is important is one of the main reasons why I wanted to be a part, is the education focus. So this is it. This is the future. This is what many other races, groups do. They get together, put their dollars down and say, hey, we're going to move. Hey, we're going to own something. And so that's the beautiful thing. And it's a big, powerful thing that we have in Pensacola. Many people are looking to be a part of something such as this because it allows them to challenge themselves, to hold themselves accountable, to check in. Hey, how you, sis? Did you see what Apple doing? Did you see Microsoft? Are you selling? Are you holding? It really does become a family-oriented conversation. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I would express and what I would kind of describe Noire as is really just group economics at its finest. And we're starting with 20 people, 25 people. There's really no limit on what we can do with our dollar. We know how much African Americans own, how much buying power we have in America. It's actually pretty amazing. So we're just a little chip on the iceberg of what we're doing here. We're starting here in Pensacola with Noire Investment Group. I'm excited.
Dope. That's it. I'm definitely excited because I'm telling y'all, we've got this education fund. We got a group of people who are hot to trot to learn about investing. We're all at various levels. And the goal is to continue growing it. I mean, we got this crypto thing popping off now. We got real estate game out there now. I mean, there's so many things we can get into. So I'm looking forward to the future and growth and all of that growth. We started with this 20 and I can't wait to see where we go. So you got it right. Knocked it right on the head. So with that being said, I think we need to go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into this article. And I want to go over a few companies with y'all. And I want to see what your takes are about these companies. And really, for the people who are out there, I want you to think about these companies in a way and think when you hear the names on some of these companies, I want you to hear how they're affected by the sanctions that Ms. Moni talked about against Russia and what's actually happening, how this affects those companies, how this might affect your portfolio. And if you're out there investing, I want you to think about this before you buy a stock. I want you to think about what's actually happening with that company and something you should probably look for. So first up on my list is everyone's favorite meal, right? When you go to eat out. Can y'all give me a guess of what y'all think that is? What's the favorite meal of America when you go to eat out?
I know what you're asking. It's not my favorite meal. You're talking to a chef now. I still got my chef jacket on. I know what you're going to say. You know what I'm saying? And you said America's favorite meal. We might need to break this up into minority groups because I'm not sure if that's everybody's favorite meal. But Mr. President, are you talking about McDonald's?
I'm talking about McDonald's, Mickey D's.
Da, 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 da.
We ain't loving it. We ain't loving
We
it.
ain't loving it.
We ain't loving it. All right, so
We
if y'all out
visited,
there
but
watching,
we ain't loving it.
if y'all out here watching, y'all let me know if this is America's favorite meal. If this is your favorite meal, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if this is your favorite meal. If this is not your favorite meal, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. Put a 2 if this is not your favorite meal. Right? I mean, are y'all on that McRib? Are you on that Big Mac? I mean, the chicken nuggets. I mean, they used to be like that other stuff. Now I think it's true chicken tenders, right? Chicken nuggets, right? Whatever that is. What is a nugget, right? I mean, I'm just saying. But Allison Holt said McDonald's. She says, yep, she was guessing. She's like, yep, that's it right there. And she said chicken, I guess it's chicken. Yeah, it's chicken, right? Is it a restaurant that serves chicken? And McDonald's does have it. So definitely. And I got a couple more users saying, nope, this is not my favorite meal. They dropped that 2 in there real quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Team two.
You would have had a better chance talking about Popeyes with some of us. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, then you got to deal with Popeyes and Churches, right? That becomes the battle. I was never a Churches fan. I am a Popeyes fan, though, for sure. But with that being said, McDonald's is a global fast food chain, and they have a strong presence in Russia, and the current crisis affects their company operations, right? So as of 2022, McDonald's has roughly 850 stores in Russia, and that accounts for 4% of their revenue, right? And so how is this going to affect them negatively, right? So when you think about it, 850 stores, you now have sanctions where you can't deal with banking anymore. So now at each of those 850 stores, that's worth $2.2 billion. You can't do credit card transactions, right? Because they just blocked you on Swift, right? You can't do, you can only accept cash. And so now you've got a chicken nugget that used to cost, $5.99 because them chicken nuggets ain't cheap no more, right? But now the ruble, right, which is Russia's dollar, right, equivalent, that's their exchange, right, their monetary, right, now is decoupled from the rest of the world's markets, and it's dropping. I think it's lost 30% of the value is what I saw.
I think it's 1 cent to the dollar now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 1 cent to the dollar?
I read an article talking about it was 1 cent to the dollar.
So imagine you paying $5.99 in America for a chicken McNugget meal, maybe a McRib sandwich. You might have paid $6.99. Right now, that Jones is like $25 just to get a McRib sandwich, and you got to pay in cash. You can't even use debit cards anymore because that goes all through the same banking system. What y'all think about that?
Woo, it hurts my heart, and I don't even shop at McDonald's.
It's one of those things because if a person was an investor in McDonald's anyway, I'm thinking they would have seen some McDonald's woes coming up ahead of time. McDonald's has been dethroned multiple times as not being the best fast food service establishment. So if you had good long-term vision, you already probably would have seen some different things coming. They've had identity crisis, how to reestablish themselves as a family establishment. They've had issues with trying to stay relevant. We've got all these new quick service restaurants that are out there that are able to offer healthier choices, which they've tried to try to revise. So McDonald's has had a long-term problem coming up, and for investors, I know those who watch it, you've seen this coming. Subway, for heaven's sakes, knocked them out of their block 1 year as being one of the top places. So they've had some struggles. But for those who are I think, and people who love McDonald's are nostalgia folks. They love the feel of McDonald's. They love the history of McDonald's. They're like fans of McDonald's. So it's taken, those who are in it and going to hold on to the stock, they will. But I want to say 4% of a company going down, it's going to affect them, but not as big as we think possibly. What may affect them even more so is if this 4% doubles and we have to assert sanctions on China or on an Asian company where that's coupled and paired. So now you have to double or triple the amount that you're going to lose. Right now, Russia, I don't see that as being as big. It will affect them just as much, probably. I mean, if you might want to look, we might look at the statistics and see how was McDonald's affected during COVID. percentages. Like we had a drop off there. So, and depending, and this is a short-term thing. COVID had a massive hit because we're talking about a year along. So we're hoping that this war doesn't last as long as that. But for a month or two, maybe 3, McDonald's will be okay.
Gotcha. So you're saying basically if they can survive this and we don't go to war with another major country and have to do these sanction things, then if someone's interested in McDonald's, they may want to buy this dip because it's not that big of a problem for their finances long term. That's interesting.
100%.
That's an interesting take. Yeah. Good
So
deal.
if McDonald's goes about, so if the stock right now for McDonald's is, let's say it was at $10, it drops to $5, and you're interested in making some money, buy it. Because guess what? Eventually it's going to go back up. You might not even be a fan of McDonald's, but it would definitely be a buy, because even though you bought it at 5, in a couple months, you might be able to cash out really quickly at 20, but you made your bucks.
Yeah. Once that rebound hits, it'll go up, and that's when the time to cash out and move on to something else.
Like you
Good
said,
deal.
You don't even have to eat it. You can be a vegetarian or vegan. You don't have to even have to like it. Just get your money.
and don't tell nobody. Don't you have to tell nobody you got the stock?
I ain't judging you. Just get your dollars.
Oh man. Miss Allison Holt says America eat from the earth, healthier living, and I do agree with you. We definitely need to have some healthier eating. But I mean, I'm just saying that same beef patty, that cow comes from the earth and it's eating earth. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, the cow does come from the earth, but whether that
is that cow
real...
you're eating at McDonald's? Is that truly cow you're eating at McDonald's?
We don't even know.
What percentage of cow is that? Is it like a mixed grade cow? I'm just checking. I wasn't
Is
sure.
that a real chicken nugget?
Just like a nugget. What is a nugget?
Just a thought. Just a thought. I mean, 10% cow and the rest, goulash.
Is it almost vegan?
That's a whole nother thing.
Nah.
What is that? What's that plant burger? That plant
Impossible meat.
Impossible.
Burger.
It's impossibly meat. And on that thought, let's keep rolling. I don't want to defame nobody. The next big company. This is another major player in the in the food and beverage industry. This company is actually, I think, sits at number 2 on the beverage meter. If y'all are out there and y'all are thinking, tell me, what is the second largest beverage product manufacturer? Y'all drop that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. Before I reveal this name, I want to tell y'all a little bit about them. So the Eastern European accounts of this company makes up 4% of the total sales. Their operations outside the U.S. generated 42% of its consolidated net revenue, and Russian operations played a key role in this company's growth. In fact, in 2020, the revenues was about $3 billion from Russia, so almost a little bit more than what McDonald's had. Recently, this company posted a strong fourth quarter results at roughly about 12% as of last year. And so without further ado, this company is PepsiCo.
Pepsi-Cola. You have the colors up in your screen, the red and the blue.
There they are, right there. Red, white, and blue. So this company has literally $3 billion in revenue from Russia alone. What are y'all thinking about that? What's your take on that?
It's gone.
You can't do sales now, right?
You're on hold. You're on hold majorly.
And we'll see how long them cans last, right? What's the expiration date on them
bonuses
cans?
that they asked for? They gonna need to be asking for them bonuses they gave y'all on Christmas. Everybody, you can kindly return your bonus. The president, CEO, CFO, please return your bonuses. Please give the keys to the company cars back.
Cutting back on the laptops.
That's it. You're going to use the same laptop they gave you last year for the next 5 years. That's what's going to happen.
Refurbished.
Right?
For sure.
No company conferences this year. That's it.
Right. That's a lot of dough.
Yeah. Now, everyone in the chat was saying Coke. I see one user said Coke here. I see Allison was saying Coke. Coke, I think, is actually number 1. They're the number 1 beverage producer in the world. and this one being number 2 is Pepsi,
Mhm.
with those sales. So Pepsi is obviously a vastly different company than McDonald's. What are your thoughts on that, Madam Founder, with regard to, is Pepsi a buy? Is Pepsi a hold and wait and see? Should we be dumping our Pepsi stock? What do you think about that?
So I don't believe any stocks that you have right now. I don't believe that you should be dumping, because what are you? This would be at the absolute lowest. What are you gaining from this by dumping? You're not getting any kind of fund return on it by dumping anything right now. Now it's not dump time. Now it's right now for you to assess, to hold on. Hopefully you've been smart. You've got a great balanced portfolio, which equals some great ETFs, equals some balance, some things that can kind of hold you diversified funds in your portfolio. So that, it should be able to keep you a little steady. So you're not losing too much. There really shouldn't be any dump. And you know what? As a matter of speaking about dumps, Russia is putting a hold on some of their, if you were a Russian citizen right now and we were having this conversation, they put a lock on those who are trying to sell stocks. They're like, no, can't do it. They're not allowing you because they're trying to stabilize their money market. Because they're like, hey, we're in trouble right now because of these sanctions. And as a part of these sanctions, we put freezes on large sums of money that Russia used to have they should have to be accessible to them. Not only did our country do that, but other countries as well. So to circle back around to what you were asking in regards to anything about dumping, nobody can dump if they wanted to, Russia, and we shouldn't right now. We should really hold on. Would I buy Pepsi? I don't drink a lot of soda. That's not my thing. I like to invest in what I use. But if you're into sodas, I would definitely opt to say I like a company that's more diversified. There's a reason why Coke is number 1. Coke is not necessarily situated just in Russia. Coke is like Vive Mexicanos. They're down in South America. They are in Asia. They are in Thailand. They are diversified. So they are all around the world. So if I were you, you could get Pepsi, but I would opt for the number 1.
Opt for the number 1. I hear you there. In fact, I'm looking at Pepsi. They're only down $1.47.
I was just going to say, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I also will say this is the beauty and what this is about. Noire is about. It is so fun to be able to hear different people's take. Some people get stocks and they're ready to let it go. I'm a holder. Some people take it and hold it. I spent my money on this, and dang it, I'm gonna wait till I get the most out of it. So it's cool to be able to listen to everybody's mindset, what they're in it for, what they invest in, things that they use, things they don't use. I don't even eat meat, but I would definitely invest in McDonald's because McDonald's is not going anywhere, So you have different stops for different reasons. But again, this is the reason why this is so important. Noire is so important because it starts the conversation. It helps you think about things probably different than you would if you were just on your little E-Trade account by yourself.
Help you see things differently, because if you can see things differently and you can see where other people are interested in a thing, it's like, maybe I should take another look at that, see what's happening right there. Okay, dope. And I do want to mention that Pepsi is, as of January 10th, I think that was their 52-week high. They were at 175 and some change, and they are currently right now sitting at 162. So they're off their high in January, even before the invasion happened. But they're coming off of an all-time high for the past 52 weeks. So their stock is very, very much so inflated already. And I say inflated, but at the high end of the value scope over the past year. So it's actually, as it comes down, this might actually be that good point. I'm not into Pepsi as well. I don't think I have would buy Pepsi by default, but some others who might. So if in the chat, if y'all are interested, let me know. Would you buy some Pepsi or not? Would you buy some Pepsi stock? Because Pepsi does more than beverages. They do food products as well. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to keep this thing rolling. All right, so now this is a big international company. This is a company everyone loves to hate, right? I'm talking about the States. I'm talking about the government hates this company, right? So many people hate on this company, right? Or at least they try and get money out of this company. I'm just gonna say it like that, right? This company is called Philip Morris International. So tell me, what do y'all know about Philip Morris? What's a major
bling,
thing
bling.
y'all know about
Every
Philip
time
Morris?
I come around your city, bling, bling, pinky ring, worth about 50. That's what I think about Philip Morris. Lots of dough, lots of money, diversified. They are in many different sectors. They have been a stronghold in the industry for finance. They have, it's like when the person used to say back in the day, "Yo, Google me, son." You could do that with Philip Morris because they've got the receipts to show they know what they're talking about. And they know what they're doing. They are a powerful, powerful company in the United States.
Definitely,
Longevity.
they've definitely got some longevity.
I would like my name to be Philip Morris. My last name be Philip Morris. What about you?
I don't want that legacy there. I don't know if I want that legacy. Not that legacy. They got slavery issues. They've been around so long, right? They go way back, but then they also got, every state government trying to get a piece of them to deal with all this cancer and this smoking and this lung stuff, right? Philip Morris.
Think about the legacy. Just think about the money legacy. Just born into that type of family, born with that type of affluence and wealth and the power that comes with it. Like all the things that come with it. So I could be how many generations of that family and be a non-smoker, but still be just living off of the money, the legacy, the wealth. And you can do something totally different. But yeah, it's a powerful company. I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, Allison says they got that long money. They got that long money.
What did Cardi B say? Shmoney.
Yeah, we call that old money where I'm from. Old money.
They got that old money. So as of its annual report, Philip Morris said that they, let's see here, were mainly driven by their increase for a heated tobacco unit shipment volume was mainly driven by the EU, Russia, Ukraine, and Japan. So 2 major markets out of that are now gone. Let's see here. They have 47 hedge funds that are invested in them right now. And while the war has dramatically lifted tech stocks, it's brought bad news for companies like Philip Morris, which have direct exposure to the market. I think they roughly have, I think it's 2% of total cigarettes and heated tobacco shipment volume going to Russia and Ukraine, but they have direct exposure. What are y'all thoughts on that? So I've already heard y'all like that long money that they got. So
I think Philip Morris is going to be like Anheuser-Busch. I don't know if you guys remember Anheuser-Busch a couple of years ago, and their information that came up, they had a big scandal in regards to some of their affiliations and Nazi things that came up, and they went through a very tough time. They were trying to reestablish their name, reestablish their credentials, and they took a hit. But they're a big company, and I think that Philip Morris will do the same because they have that legacy, they have that money. They've got accountants that already know how to keep things in reserve. They got there was a rap song that says, I got a lawyer watching my lawyer. They have accountants watching their accountants. They do because they have that money. So
it's like a casino.
The stuff that, the diversified portfolios and having money across the world, they're going to be okay because they understand what it means for wealth building, and making sure that their legacy survives long beyond things like this. They have people who are looking at different things that may pop up. So I think they're because of their time and tenure in business and exposure, it provides them a great asset to knowing how to navigate this. I don't think they're going to have any problem surviving.
It's all about the brand. It's all about rebranding. It's all about getting new, fresh faces. We've seen companies do this time and time again. That's what creates longevity. It's moving, playing the chess game the way it's supposed to be played, right? So slap a couple new faces, get some fresh energy going, different mission statements, and we're back in there. Keep the name stays the same. But everything else is refurbished or rebirth, if you will.
And think about how long, like Philip Morris and like they dealt with the smear campaigns in regard to how bad cigarettes were. And mind you, I'm not a cigarette smoker or anything like that. And those who are, hey, more power to you. I just want to use this as as an example. Think about the years of the smear campaigns. We had the whole 80s into 90s, where it's like they would tell you about cigarettes. They're still around. They are still around. Their pockets, as much as everybody put out and all the lawsuits, and then all they had to rebrand and put things on the back of all their packaging. They are still around and still a top competitor in the market, which means that they know what they're doing. They know how to navigate through tough areas, and they've been doing this for a long time. When was that company established? You just think about that. If you go back and look at the history, look and see what year was that company. When did people start with that little? When did the cigarettes start? You got a date for that, Mr. President?
I'm looking for it right now.
When did that company start?
Let's see what we can find here real fast.
Trivia moment.
If you know, drop that in the chat. If you know when Philip Morris was founded, go ahead and drop that in the chat and let us know what your thoughts are. 1902, that was their early years. 1835 in the United Kingdom.
And what year is this?
Oh, he was born in 1835. The real guy, Philip Morris, was born in 1835. And in 1847, the family opened a shop in London. So 1847 is their founding business time period. And this is the year 2022.
Longevity. And this what year is this?
2022.
2022? And we're questioning whether or not this company has the ability to adapt and sustain itself.
By the dip. I hear you. I think you're saying by the dip. That's what I hear you saying. Is that what y'all hear?
How many Great Depressions did they, the Great Depressions and polio outbreak and all these different, they gonna be all right.
I mean, when you think about that, Columbus, when that was 1492, so we're literally into America is founding. We are we're before the Civil War. 47? That's before the Civil War. That's before Jim Crow. Before Reconstruction.
Somebody was still puffing. Yeah. Everything.
I'll be dead and gone, and people and Philip Morris and folks will still be.
That's right. True story.
They ain't going nowhere. By that Philip Morris is if you into them smokes. If you into them smokes, go ahead and put that in the chat. Say smoke. Put that in the chat.
I don't even smoke. I don't vape. But this is just what this is a testament again to what I said before, which is the education and time. There is something to say about having education, the time, having that experience. They've got the experience to navigate them, to guide them. They have the money, the deep pockets to help them through situations like this. They have all these years that they have gone through and seen, so they know exactly what to do to make it through. Out of all the companies we've listed, like we're talking about the deepest, time invested in this business thing. So,
man. All right, so I'm going to skip on this list a little bit because we got a lot, and we've been on this thing for about an hour already. We've been doing it. So I want to talk to you about two companies actually right now. These two companies believe, in fact, that JP Morgan believes that the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the West sanctions could negatively affect this company. Because they have a design center in Russia, and the company reportedly employs 2,000 people that are under contract there. This company is the American aeronautical company called Boeing, and their counterpart also Delta Airlines, after suffering from COVID forever, the airline companies were just getting battered and beat up for COVID, was especially vulnerable because of the backdrop scenario with COVID, and they've had to withdraw code share services with Aeroflot and the airport, and they've just removed Delta operating services from there. So their stock has been down about 4%, but Boeing builds airplanes in Russia for Russian aeronautical companies, right? That's interesting. And these are 924 funds have Boeing in their portfolio, with long positions held by 50. I think they have just over between those companies, there's over 1 million shares worth about $187 million with Boeing's impact that people are tied to, right? That's just tied to just that piece of it alone. What are y'all thoughts around those two companies, both Delta and Boeing, who are in the flight world?
The first thing I think about is the people they employ. The employment.
Used to employ.
Yeah. I mean, this is a lot of money. And if we all know these companies, we talked about it before, longevity, Boeing, Delta, a lot of money. But COVID, it's something to be said about COVID happening first and then this war. It's interesting to look at these numbers and compare and contrast. Where are we going? Where do these companies go? They were already low, shooting back up where they were before, treading water. It's a lot to consider, a lot to research.
That emergency fund, gotta have it. I hope theirs wasn't running too low, like you said, because I mean, you mess around and have a radiator that needs to be replaced in your car. That go half your emergency fund. The dishwasher break, there go the other half. I mean, you have a couple more accidents after that. I mean, you're done, right? Yeah. And we done seen COVID for 2 years and now war. Oh my goodness.
I think Boeing is one out of the two. Boeing is the one that's going to has a lot more flexibility. So if those who know about Boeing does contracts for various different companies. No, let me correct that. Various different countries. That's what I wanted to say. So what the benefit for Boeing, and what my husband had clarified for me when we're talking about if we were to get into a war, we always like to think, the U.S. has the upper hand, forgetting that these companies like Boeing owe us no allegiance. When they make bomb technology, they sell to the highest bidder. So if Russia gets it, guess what? We don't get it. If Japan gets it, guess what? If China buys it, if Iraq buy it, guess what? So Boeing has an opportunity to still put things out there and get it, even if Russia doesn't have access to it. It will hurt them. 2,000 employees, that on large mass companies, that's a small amount. I hate to be that person to say that. I don't want to be I don't want to be hurt, not sensitive to them, to those people, but just looking at it on a business scale, 2,000 employees versus some of these large companies is really just a drop in the bucket to lose. No, not to be ugly, but just on the grander scale. The company itself, I definitely see it can redefine and move around because they still have bright engineers. They have people who are great at developing war machines. They'll be all right. Boeing also, if you notice, is having an image issue. They've got a Netflix show right now talking about Boeing and some of the things that it did on safety measures. So it's got to reclaim some positive light out of it. These are things to consider for Boeing. So I know they're in the process of right now trying to figure out their imaging, what that's looking like, and also looking for new clientele. Who wants to be the next superpower? Who can afford us to pay us to be the next superpower? Because they will sell to the highest bidder. Delta, God help Delta. Delta has been through hospitality issues with everything going on with the pandemic. We know we're hoping. This is the risk with someone buying Delta. Yes, the stock is low, and everyone hopes it's going to go back up if it doesn't file for bankruptcy. If it doesn't file for bankruptcy, there's only so many loans it can get to bail itself out before it doesn't have anything else to pull. That will be for any investors out there thinking about investing. That will be the risk you'd be running to say whether or not you want to invest in Delta. I would invest in Boeing before I invested in Delta right now because they've taken multiple hits. I have faith in engineers and scientists to be able to figure out more, I hate to say it, to figure out more war machines, planes, jets, and things like that. Because right now everybody's watching all this throwing around of power and puffing up chests. So I'm sure other countries are looking like Ukraine. That could be me. I might need to buy some arsenal. I might need to invest in a little bit more aircraft. So I'm thinking this might be an incentive for other countries to say, let's ante up a little bit. Let's look for opportunities to strengthen our military. So I would be a Boeing pick.
I got you. Right now, I'm looking. Delta is near their 52-week low, which is their 52-week range. In fact, is 33.40 to 52.28, and they are sitting right now at 37.64. So they've definitely been feeling that pressure for a while. In fact, their major high has been close to what is this? Around $57. Yeah, about $57. This was in June of 19 when they were that high. That was the last time they were anywhere near that time period. Then, of course, COVID, and then the stocks took a major tumble after that down to $25. So they're a little bit off of their all-time low. Around 25 over at least the past 5 years, but definitely nowhere near on a high. So, and then Boeing, like you said, looks to be the more interesting stock. They're sitting right now at 194.50. But what I noticed is when I looked at their 5-year mark, their 5-year high is roughly around 440. And there was the big drop off around 19, right? The start of the pandemic. But so being around 195 to being closer to your high at 440, I mean, that's a humongous bump that you could possibly gain by investing in Boeing. I mean, and like you mentioned, Boeing would be the company to invest into because they have a lot more recovery ground available versus Delta. Facts. Interesting points there. Anything else you want to add? Oh, go ahead.
You know what, Delta right now, there's a couple things to consider as well with Delta. We're in the middle of what would be classified as people getting ready to get ready for spring break. If Delta, you were ever going to do something, now would be the time. People are purchasing for spring break and preparing for their summer vacations. So right now you should see Delta going up in a trajectory like this because now it's purchase time for holidays. Now is the time people are preparing to be able to do those things. So if Delta is not able to recover, if any time it was going to turn around, now will be the numbers you would start to see. People are telling you and advising you in travel and the hospitality and tourism that if you're doing summer travel, to buy your tickets now because of fuel prices, because of high costs that are rising. If Delta's not able to grab and get a hold of that right now, I'm not sure Delta's going to be able to recover.
If y'all have airlines in your portfolio, I want you to drop me some ticker symbols. Drop me some ticker symbols in the chat right now. If you have some airlines in your portfolio, that's going to be really interesting to see who you're invested in, right? We talked about Delta. We talked about Boeing, which is a company that makes airplanes, along with a few other things, right? A few bombs here and there, a few missiles and things like that. But, they make airplanes. And so let me know what planes you have in your portfolio. I'd be interested in seeing what y'all are carrying out there. I do want to talk about this last company. And were you finna say something, Madam VP?
No, that I'm listening.
Okay, cool. So this last company that I want to talk about is actually a food company. So not like McDonald's though, right? This company called Mondelez International, and the ticker symbol is MDLZ. Is in the limelight because analysts believe the company is under pressure because of their exposure to Russia and Ukraine. They're actually a leading chocolate maker in Russia, And in Russia alone, their revenues were $55 billion. Now that was in rubles. I know there's a conversion, but and now that ratio is all off right now. But it was roughly 13% of the company's revenue came from Russia alone, right, at 55 billion rubles. I think right now they're looking at about 10 to 11%. This is an EU company in particular. 10 to 11% of their segment comes from Russia, and their total sales right now have been about 3% of 2022. Now, of course, we're still early in the year, but now all of that money is finna go away more or less because of sanctions with EU. So there was roughly about 40 hedge fund companies that were invested in Mondelez by the end of 2021. Of course, those companies I assume they're going to dump, but they can't even do that because their assets are frozen right now with their investments with this company who's invested in Russia. What are y'all thoughts on this?
Yeesh.
I definitely agree. So let's be fair. Let me be fair to Russian politics and what's going on. And the truth be known that if I was running the country or on that portion and I was in a situation where I'm getting sanctions, the first thing I would do would be to freeze assets because I've got to stop the hemorrhaging. We're bleeding out. Despite the fact of whether you agree with the regimen and what's going on, you have to be able to think methodically. You've got to stop the hemorrhaging somewhere. And the first thing is with your money. Let's go back to the first of this video. Let's take it back to the hood. Okay. What happened was your account was frozen. You had an account that you didn't pay, and they came back and they froze that account. You've got to figure out how to get access to these funds. So you got to make some calls and tell everybody, hold up. I need my money. I need my funds. Nobody do nothing. The dollars I got to hold on to. This is what's happening right now. And it's affecting many different companies, including their local chocolatiers, you name it. There's a long list of people, but these moves are being done strategically to make sure the Russian economy will be able to sustain itself. Now, keep in mind, we have to make sure we do not make the correlation to Russian people, Russian business to Vladimir Putin. There are people and businesses that do not agree with what is happening or what's going on in their country. There are people who live there in that country who stand in solidarity with Ukraine and don't agree with Ukraine. And as a result, you still have sound-minded people who are trying to make the best decision for their country to make sure that things don't topple. So you have to freeze the accounts. You have to stop people from selling, or else you will not have anything. So I commend them for doing the best things that they have. Companies that are based there, they're in big trouble. They're in big trouble. What can they do besides put a halt? They're going to take massive losses on high accounts. They may or may not be able to be able to recover. Freezing an account and not having access to your funds on any stage, whether it's $1 or 1 billion or trillion, it's going to be devastating. It's going to be devastating because not only is it affecting them, I think the sanctions affect them from reaching outside of the country and getting the money. So the money that you have in the Chile bank, you can't get it. You can't get it. You don't have access to resources to that. Everything is on halt.
Only thing you got access to is
for companies that are in Russia. This is going to be major for businessmen, small businessmen that maybe have property all over the country. This is going to be major. The Russian economy is going to have to find a way to rebound. And the reason why it was done was to put a chokehold on Mr. Putin. And they're trying to see right now, if we do this to your economy, will this force you to act right, to get some do right in your life? I'm not sure if this is enough do right because the economy, we're waiting to see the effects of what happens if he's willing to pull back by this. So I definitely hate it for the independent businesses out there. There was a post I did put up on my page, and this is for anybody who is watching. Please understand, do not correlate, I say again, Mr. Putin with other Russian people, businesses, entities. It's not. Please don't do the same. The Russian grandma that you see out there in the corner, or Russian communities that you see here in America, please do not come at them, in negative ways. That is Mr. Putin. That is not them. Please, if you still have Russian businesses that are in your communities, still go out and support. It doesn't, we don't want to label them as, being always attributed to that. And I'm hoping that the chocolatiers, there are other businesses that started from the bottom, just like we did, trying to make it, they're able to survive. I'm not sure that most Russian businesses will be able to make it.
Yeah. I'm thinking, like this Facebook user says, I don't think it will affect him much. He knew this would cause sanctions, so I'm sure he was prepared. I think Mr. Putin, President Putin, had some cash in the mattress.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I think that's what he was preparing for. So I think a lot of Russia, right? They pulled their cash out and they got some cash in the mattress. And I'm just saying that because I'm going back to that hood analysis, right? That's where you put your money at if you needed to protect it, right? Even the dope man know I need to put my money in the wall, in the mattress, somewhere when I got heat coming at me from all kind of directions. I need to have that little stash in the wall there so I don't need nothing in my name. It can't be in my name because they're gonna come and get it if it's in my name.
100%.
Right? So you gotta put that house in grandma's name so they can't touch it.
And that is exactly who Mr. Putin is. For those who research it, my best friend, Onka Metse, told me something. Her family's like diplomats, so they've always shared and known about some of Mr. Putin's moves. If you research, my God, someone said definitely, and he a goon and got goon mentality. That is the problem. Whoever said that knows exactly what I'm talking about, because this is the issue. People are looking for sensibility from Mr. Putin, not realizing he's a goon. He doesn't. It's a different mentality. Certain sensible decisions you would expect from him to make, he's not making because that's not who you think he is. He's been trained. He is an assassin. He is in physical top shape. If you look him up and see how he likes to spar with people and show them that he still got it, the man is nothing to play with. He's been known to poison people, send people, follow people. He is not nothing to play with. He is not what you, he's much more than that. He's a very scary person. He intimidates the media. He locks them up. He tortures people. This is a real deal. So he will do things at any cost to make sure he gets what he needs to. He's not one. One of those one you be like, got a little tick where you're like, what's going on? Like, is everything all right up there? Don't play with this one.
Straight face.
He might push the button. This is not, I'm like, you don't talk. Certain people you don't talk, because he'll be like, I believe Mr. Putin will be about it. And the sad portion about it is it'll be at the expense of the people, the expense of these businesses, at the expense of the economy. Horrible story that was shared about some of the Russian soldiers that were coming up, and they were coming to the Ukraine line. Like, I don't even know why I'm fighting. I didn't even know I was coming. I didn't even want to do this. And they were, pulling some of the Russian soldiers over and just talking to them, and they have them just debriefing them. But we're talking about some major issues that are happening within the country, and some crazy stuff that's just happening with, the economics and how it's going to affect the businesses and stocks for a long time. So I'm hoping that they'll be able, these businesses who are just like you and I, who are watching and wanting to grow and wanting to benefit, that they will have the opportunity to come back. And as well for Ukraine. I don't want to be this a one-sided thing, because their country is getting devastated. So I'm praying that they'll be able to come back and get reestablished. How? I'm not sure. I have no idea how that's going to happen, because they're not a member of the United Nations, so they don't have access to some of the funds and to support they would normally get. But I'm definitely praying for them.
Yeah, now I think they're a member of the United Nations. They're not a member of NATO.
NATO. Sorry about that. Correction for that. They're not a member of NATO.
Yeah. But what's interesting about that, the system that we're using right now to live stream across multiple platforms, it's a system called Restream. That system was created by two Ukrainian founders, right? Starting in Ukraine and then coming to the US. Everyone who is a member host of this platform received an email about that. And so it was really touching to see that, in their homeland, their country. I mean, they're in the US now, and they're trying to pull people out of Ukraine before it got too far. But right, this platform, right? The freedom, the thought process of independence and being able to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, right? We see the product of that in the system that we're using right now by people, of Ukrainian descent. And, they're dealing with the repercussions of that, right? And I guess we saw that literally from the repercussions of colonialism in Africa, but I ain't gonna go too far down that rabbit hole right now.
Preach,
but I mean, we're still dealing with that right now,
Preach. Yeah.
So, all right, with those words out there, I hope y'all found this to be a blessing. Please share this out with your friends, your family, and think about investing. If you're interested in investing, you can find us on Facebook right now. That's going to be the easiest place to find us at Noire Investment Group on Facebook. Madam VP, anything you want to share with the people about communicating with us or any of the things we offer?
Absolutely. So this is always going to be a fun time for us as officers to kind of get out of our normal professional hats and just to chat it up and look at the local news. But if you want a little bit more information about the business that we conduct, we are an entity. We are a legal operating investment group. So please send us an email. Noire Investment Group @gmail is our official email correspondence. So if you're interested in becoming a member, want to send us some articles, maybe there's topics that you want to discuss, maybe you have stocks that you're interested in looking into, send that to us. We also have a public social page, like Chris mentioned, which is Noire Investments. Noire Investments. And you can go on there, you can drop articles, you can drop pictures, ticker symbols on there, just to talk finance. And then we have a private group page for our current members, which is Noire Investment Group. Now that page, if you click on it, it's going to tell you, sorry, you have to be in the group in order to be a part, because we do want to keep our financial business internal. But Noire Investment Group @gmail, please email us if you like. And then the social page, Noire Investments, you can DM any one of us individually as well to contact us about Noire as well.
For sure. All right. With that being said, Madam Founder, do you have any last words for the people out there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something specifically. There's some people who are ready to join the investment group, and there's others you might be at different levels. And so I want to say this for those who might not be necessarily ready for commitment of regular investments. Number one, you need to have right now, especially in the status of our United States right now, I would definitely implore anybody who's watching this, make sure you have an emergency fund prepared. Despite everything that's going on, I would definitely implore you, start little. You're like, hey, what do you mean? If it's you and your kid, you and your family, do you have $100 in your savings account readily accessible, or there at the house you can grab? Okay, let's up it. Do you have $250? Do you have $500 just in case if something can happen? A lot of people in the industry tell you at least have $1,000. But if you don't have that and you're not able to get to that, start small, because it's the discipline. Because what coming into Noire is going to require the discipline. Every month we're investing. Come hell or high water, we're making sure those funds are ready. So you can try to test yourself and see, am I ready for investment? Am I able to come into this thing with commitment? Let me make sure first. And I would never advise anybody to join Noire until you have first your emergency fund. Because right now where we're in a situation, you need to have something readily available, because no one in Noire right now is cashing out stocks. And Noire Investment is not our emergency fund. It's not. It's our investment. We have individual funds we still were able to pull just in case. And then the other thing is personal. If you don't have your commodities, water, beans, vegetables, different things you can stock up right now, gas, please prepare yourself just in case. This is not any scare tactics. It's because we're family and we believe in education. We want to make sure that the community is educated, the community is ready and not behind the curve. Do you want to be one of those last minute toilet tissue people at Sam? I don't think you want to be that person. We don't want our people to be those person, to be the last toilet tissue folks. We want our people to be in a situation where we're empowered, we're educated, and we are able to lend to one another. We are able to bless to one another. So how do you do that? Start right now while everything is going on. This weekend, if you can, on your paycheck, $20. Go up to your Walmart or your dollar store, grab your beans while you can, grab your toilet tissue, grab a case of water. And if you're in a good, blessed situation, bless your neighbor if you can. But we hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm gonna put it back to Mr. President.
Awesome. I even see someone in the chat talking about, say, put me in, coach, put me in. So look, if you're interested in the future of joining Noire, you heard some tips right there from our founder, Madam Founder, on things that you should probably do before you come to invest. But if you have a small emergency fund or a large emergency fund, if you've got those basic elements of life in place, and you're interested in learning how to invest and learning how to grow, make sure you come and join us. Check us out. You can send an email, as Madam VP said. And on that note, we're going to get on up out of here. We will see y'all again in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing this on a regular basis, a regular cycle, Noire Investment TV. And we will see y'all. Don't forget to subscribe to our page. We're going to be putting out some more information here real soon and growing this platform. So until then, y'all have a great one. Peace.